I found something.
Okay. What did you find?
Found a place. It's massive in there. It just goes on and on and on. All these rooms. This place builds, though. Actually, more like it remembers them. And the more times it remembers something, the less it does.
That's the Backrooms. And in May 2026, A24 is turning one of the internet's most unsettling urban legends into a full-length feature film, directed by a 20-year-old filmmaker who went viral on YouTube before he ever held a studio meeting. So today, we're going to break down everything. Where this idea came from, what the film is actually about, why A24 bet on a teenager's YouTube series, and what the deeper meaning of the Backrooms might reveal about our own psychology, our fear of the unknown, and the strange spaces between where we are and where we were supposed to be. Stay with me, because this one goes deep. Here's a question. What's the scariest image you can think of? A monster? A dark forest? A figure in the corner of your room at 3 a.m.? For a generation raised on the internet, the answer turned out to be something far more mundane. A photograph. A photo of a yellow wallpapered room. Bad carpet, fluorescent lights, totally empty. It showed up on a 4chan thread in May 2019, posted anonymously alongside a simple caption, and within days it became one of the most viral pieces of horror the internet had ever produced. Not because it showed anything terrifying, but because of how it made people feel, like they'd been there before, like they shouldn't be there anymore. In January of 2022, a 16-year-old kid from Northern California named Kane Parsons uploaded a short film to YouTube. He'd spent a month building it from scratch using free 3D animation software called Blender. No studio, no budget, no crew, just him, a computer, and an idea that had been living in his head. The video was called The Backrooms, found footage. It presented itself like a recovered VHS tape from the 1990s, grainy, imperfect, real feeling. Someone accidentally wanders into an endless maze of those exact yellow rooms. Something starts chasing them. The tape ends. The internet lost its mind. The video spread everywhere. Critics called it the scariest video on the internet. It racked up tens of millions of views. Parsons kept going, turning it into a web series. By the time A24 came knocking, his series had accumulated nearly 200 million views across almost 24 episodes, and now in 2026 we're about to see what happens when the internet's most iconic nightmare gets a cinematic budget, an Academy Award caliber cast, and the full creative machinery of one of Hollywood's most prestigious studios behind it. The question is, does it deserve the hype? And more importantly, why does any of this scare us so much? Before we can understand the film, we need to understand the myth. Because The Backrooms isn't a property that some executive invented in a boardroom. It's something that emerged organically from the collective imagination of the internet. And that origin story is genuinely fascinating. May 12, 2019, the post that started everything. On a 4chan paranormal board, a user started a thread asking people to post images that felt off. Among the responses was a photograph. A large, carpeted room with yellow walls, fluorescent lights, and dividing panels. Slightly Dutch angle. Totally empty. And below it, another anonymous user wrote what would become one of the most quoted passages in internet horror history. If you're not careful and you no-clip out of reality in the wrong areas, you'll end up in the backrooms, where it's nothing but the stink of old moist carpet, the madness of mono yellow, the endless background noise of fluorescent lights at maximum hum buzz, and approximately 600 million square miles of randomly segmented empty rooms to be trapped in. God save you if you hear something wandering around nearby, because it sure as hell has heard you. That's it. 2 sentences. That's the entire mythology in its original form, and yet those 2 sentences ignited something massive. Within days, Reddit communities formed. Writers crafted survival guides. Artists designed new levels. Whole dimensions with different rules, different environments, different dangers. The Backrooms fandom built an entire collaborative mythology from scratch, the same way the SCP Foundation had before it. And here's the fascinating part. Years later, internet sleuths actually tracked down the original photograph. It was a hobby shop in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, a room under renovation after a water leak in 2003. Now, let's talk about this thing. What is no-clipping? The post used the term no-clip, a video game concept where a character phases through solid walls and ends up in empty, unrendered space beneath the level geometry. It's the horror of going out of bounds, of slipping through a crack in reality and finding yourself somewhere that wasn't supposed to exist. That metaphor is extraordinarily powerful, because we all feel sometimes like we've slipped out of the life we were supposed to be living, like we wandered through a door we weren't supposed to find, like we're in a room we can't get out of. The Backrooms made that feeling literal, and that's why it resonated. Now, let's talk about Kane Parsons for a moment, because the story of how this film got made is almost as interesting as the film itself. He goes by Kane Pixels online. He was 16 when he uploaded that first video. He built the environments in Blender, free software, added VHS grain, crafted an original creature he called Bacteria, and told a story set decades in the past about a corporation called Async that had accidentally opened a portal into the Backrooms in the 1980s and spent years trying to study it. That's not a casual YouTube video. That's a fully realized fictional universe built by a teenager in his bedroom. Parsons described to interviewers that he'd been thinking for years about the idea of an MRI research lab that makes a discovery that upends the laws of reality. The Backrooms gave him a canvas, and he ran with it. A24 won a bidding war for the adaptation rights in early 2023. And here's the remarkable thing. Parsons finished high school before committing to direct. He didn't rush. He waited until he was ready. That kind of measured confidence in a 19-year-old is almost eerie. He is now officially the youngest filmmaker in A24's history. At just 20 years old, he's directing a cast that includes Academy Award nominees and Emmy winners. The man who gave us the scariest video on the internet is now a feature film director. Cain Parsons once said something that stuck with me. He explained that the internet has filled the space in his life where Hollywood would be. He doesn't follow traditional cinema culture. He grew up online, telling stories online, building worlds online. And now, online has become the cinema. Now, plot details for Backrooms have been kept extraordinarily tight. A24 is known for playing its cards close to the chest. This is the studio that barely showed anything of Hereditary or Midsommar until release. So what we know comes mostly from the official synopsis, the teaser trailer, and what's been pieced together by eagle-eyed fans. Here's what we know. A strange doorway appears in the basement of a furniture showroom. A therapist's patient goes missing into a dimension beyond reality. She has to enter the unknown to save him. That's the official logline. Simple, clean, deceptively ordinary. In the teaser, Chiwetel Ejiofor's voice narrates over footage of descending into endless, increasingly vast rooms. I found something. I found a place. It's massive in there and just goes on and on and on. All these rooms, this place builds them. Actually, more like it remembers them. And the more times it remembers something, the less it does. Read that again. The more times it remembers something, the less it does. That's not just atmospheric dialogue. That's a philosophical statement about the nature of memory, reality, and repetition. The Backrooms isn't just a place that exists. It's a place that generates itself through the act of being remembered. The cast includes Chiwetel Ejiofor and Renate Reinsve in lead roles, with Mark Duplass, Finn Bennett, Lukita Maxwell, and Avan Jogia in support. The film was shot in Vancouver in the summer of 2025 under the working title Effigy, itself a word meaning a rough likeness, a substitute, a representation of something real. Even the working title is thematic. The production is backed by A24 alongside 21 Laps Entertainment, Atomic Monster, that's James Wan's production house, the man who created Saw and The Conjuring, and Chernin Entertainment. This isn't some low-budget indie passion project. This has serious creative infrastructure behind it. Runtime comes in at 90 minutes. Lean, focused, no excess. The film opens May 29th, 2026. Okay, here's my reading. Take it or leave it. The Backrooms is a map of dissociation. Dissociation is a psychological state in which a person feels detached from their own thoughts, feelings, surroundings, or sense of identity. It's often described as feeling like you're watching yourself from outside your body, or being in a familiar place that suddenly feels completely foreign, or losing track of time and finding yourself somewhere without knowing how you got there. Sound familiar? The Backrooms is every room you've ever sat in when you felt completely absent from your own life. Every fluorescent-lit office where you forgot who you were for a moment. Every corridor you walked down on autopilot, arriving somewhere without memory of the journey. Every waiting room that felt like it existed outside of time. No clipping out of reality isn't just a video game term. It's a description of what it feels like to dissociate, to slip through the wall of your own experience into a space that looks like the world but isn't inhabited by it. And here's the philosophical coda. The therapist protagonist, following her missing patient into this space, is doing the bravest and most terrifying thing a person can do for someone they care about. She's going into the dissociation with them. Not to fix it from the outside, not to prescribe something, not to observe from a safe distance, but to actually be in that space, lost, frightened, without a map, alongside the person who got trapped there first. That's not horror, that's love. Or maybe it's both. Maybe that's the whole point. The Backrooms started as an anonymous 2-sentence post on a paranormal message board. It became a creepypasta, then a fandom, then a YouTube series with 200 million views, then an A24 film with an Oscar-caliber cast. That trajectory tells us something important. It tells us that the human need to name our fears, to build mythologies around the spaces that unsettle us, to fill the empty rooms with story, is not a niche internet hobby. It's something fundamental. It's what people have always done in the dark. We sit around fires and we tell each other about the thing in the woods. We post on 4chan and we tell each other about the room that goes on forever. The technology changes, the impulse doesn't. Kane Parsons grew up online, building worlds on his computer, and turned that into a feature film at 20 years old. A24 looked at a YouTube series and saw the next evolution of horror cinema. The internet told the studios where the fear lives now, and the studios followed. On May 29, 2026, audiences around the world are going to walk into a dark room and spend 90 minutes in the most famous infinite room the internet ever imagined. And I think it's going to stay with us. Not because of any jump scare or creature or moment of violence, but because of how it will feel. Like somewhere we've been before. Like somewhere we might accidentally end up again. Like a door in a basement we didn't know was there. So here's what I want to leave you with. There are rooms in your life that feel like the Backrooms. Routines that lead nowhere. Days that feel borrowed from another version of you. Moments when the familiar suddenly seems strange, when you look at a room you've been in 1,000 times and feel, for just a second, like you don't know how to get out. The Backrooms doesn't invent that feeling. It just finally gave it a name and an address. What would you do if you found the door? Would you go through? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you on the other side.